This is episode 3 in my series on dating in Colombia in 2023. Today we're speaking with Maria Paula. Follow along.
Hey, what's it on right now? You're watching DC Born Rob on YouTube.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. My name is Rob Christian, also known as DC Born Rob, DC Rob, or you can just call me Rob. Again, in this series, I have another special guest. Today, I have Maria with me. Maria, how are you?
Hi, fine. Hi,
Okay,
everyone.
welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you. I have a few questions I'm going to run through. It'll be painless. Okay, so I appreciate you being here with me. So, first question, how old are you?
I'm 27 years old.
Okay, you're 27. Have you ever traveled internationally before?
No, I haven't.
Would you consider yourself a career girl, or were you raised to be a wife?
I don't think I was raised to be a wife.
No?
I'm more independent, and I don't see me like being a wife and having that family with kids and a husband to attend. I think I don't.
You don't? You think you don't right now? You're thinking you won't ever want to get married?
I don't know. I'll thought about it sometime, but in this moment of my life, I don't see me there. I'm trying to experience new things always, and not being like stay at home for long times, like attending my family. I don't.
Okay, I got you. I understand. Okay, so let's jump into a few questions about dating. From what I know, Colombia doesn't have a hookup culture. In other words, it's not normal to meet somebody at a bar and become intimate that night, or to, start kissing or hook up, whatever that means. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I personally haven't had those experience. I have met people, and 2 or 3 times after seeing each other, we stayed the night, but not in the first time we ever met. I think it's well, but I know it can happen, of course, but I just personally haven't experienced it.
Okay. Well, have you ever dated a foreigner before?
Yeah, I dated a German.
German. Ah, okay. So did he visit Colombia?
Yeah, he visited Colombia. He visited.
Okay. So how did he meet you?
There was the parties like for the end of the year, and I was with some friends from the college, and we were just having fun and drinking, thinking. So there was this guy, and he asked me for something like hour or something like that. And yet we started talking the whole night. Then I went home and he went his. And then we started texting. And for the time he was here in Colombia, I dated him many months, like 2 or 3, more or less.
Okay. Good question. Did he speak Spanish?
No, he didn't. He didn't. I
So-
still think that he does not speak Spanish.
Okay, so the key is the fact that you speak English. Otherwise, wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, totally. It did. It happened.
Okay. So would you date a foreigner with the intention of getting married? You didn't in this case, but how about in the future?
I don't know. I think it depends. I mean, if I get to know somebody who is my type, and I think, well, this can be the one, I will think it. And maybe, yes, I will never say never to something.
Hmm. Okay. So let's stay on the hypothetical path. You don't right now, you don't want to get married right now, but in the future, you're leaving that open. If you do decide to date a foreigner, would you want to stay in Colombia or would you want to move to that person's country, Germany, US, Canada, wherever?
Well, I'll think about it. It will be a great opportunity to leave Colombia, right? But I will have to think for my work here, or if I get work there, my family that they're capable of traveling. For example, my sister and my brother-in-law lives in they live in Boston, Massachusetts. All my family or that side of family lives in there. So if I move to US, I will probably very easy go to visit my sister or go to visit cousins or my aunts or something. My family who lives there or my family who can travel there will be perfect. Will be easy. Only for the hours traveling, flying, etc. But if I move to Europe, I don't have my family, have very few friends, and so it will be difficult to me for missing the people, missing my family and my friends who I grew up with. So I'll think about it so much.
Okay. So it would be easier for the US
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you have
for
family. Yeah.
for my family and few friends that live there. I mean, so
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. What do you think about age gap relationship? In other words, one partner is younger, much younger than the other person. The younger person could be 25 and 60 or 30 and 70 or whatever, 20 and 30. What's the difference? What are your thoughts on age gap relationships?
well, I have had many age gap relationships with men older than me, 10
Mhm.
years, 6 years, 15 years. And I think that sometimes when the girl or the boy it's way younger than the partner, it can be um, grooming way or grooming mode. I think that's dangerous in that way. I think that the person in each case must to experience, must to get to know something about life, and not only love life, but professional life, but friendship life, traveling things, experiencing many things to be capable of choosing a person who is way that older. Um, because when you're older than the partner, you have experienced things and the other won't do because of that gap age. Like they're just graduating high school or something, and if they're only seeing if they're gonna start the university at college or something like that, and it's pretty difficult when when there's a person who has known a lot, and there's the youngest person who is just trying to learn things. For that way, I think it's dangerous for the manipulating. Some cases it has happened. But for example, this is 25 or my age, 27 years old, and it's dating a 40 man, for example. I have lived a lot of things. Professional, I have worked, I have dated many other people, and have traveled, and I think I have things that I pretty sure that I know I'm gonna do, but that in my 20s, no, my 18s or something like that, I wasn't sure. So if I will date a 40 man at my 18s, I haven't lived any of that. I haven't lived my university, my workings in nothing, because at that age I haven't worked in anything. So my counsel for the people who is younger and knowing older people, it's to wait. It's to wait. It's not a race. Life is not a race.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's better one way than the other? In other words, do you think it's better if the man is older or if the woman is older?
No, I think they're the same. There are women who have dated younger men and also manipulates. And it's more common if it's a man and a little girl. But we can see cases in everywhere, many parts of the world. Here in Colombia, there's a region that it's very common and happens a lot.
It's very common for age gap relationships.
Yeah, but in the other way, the woman older and the boy younger.
Really? There's a region, a part of the country?
Yeah, but it's very small, the population. But you can see it.
Wow. Okay. That's
Yeah.
new to me. Find out where that region is. Okay, so I don't know. Are you aware that there are some, in my case, American women who frown on American men for going abroad to find a woman? In other words, myself or my peers, my other viewers, maybe going to Colombia or Thailand or Philippines. We're leaving the United States and leaving the United States women to go abroad. Do you think I don't know if you're aware of that. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's okay for men here to go abroad to find a mate?
Well, I think it's our decision for everyone. Maybe it's for the culture. I mean, Latinas are much more happier, like more talkative. How does it say? I don't know.
Friendly.
We spoke more. We speak more, and we dance and we move and we walk a lot, and we want to know everything. I mean, we want to explore, and I think that's why many people or many men comes to Latin America to meet women. It's I don't think that's a bad thing in some cases, but sometimes it gets difficult. But but well, it's not a bad thing to say that.
Mhm. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it's okay to have a relationship with a man, let's say, in your case, a foreigner who makes more money because he's making money in the US or wherever else? Do you think it's okay to date for money if that man can help elevate your life?
Well, I I will be okay. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I will still working, right? Because the currency in the US and Canada and Europe, it's much more higher than the currency in Colombia. Yeah.
Mhm.
If my income it's way lesser, and I see that I can't live with my income until I find another work in another country, in another city, or here, same city I live in, um, I'll be thankful for the help if my partner can help me. But I don't think it's something like a must, like he's have to help me financially. If I can personally, like, buy my own things and pay my rent or something like that. I mean, if it's for help, if it's for a gift, I will appreciate it. But I don't like to feel like I depend on somebody.
Okay. Well, the second half of that question came from one of my viewers who saw an interview the other day and told me to ask, because a lot of men are coming there to find a wife that will stay home, a wife that will take care of him, take care of the home. If there's kids, the kids too. But a lot of men are coming for that reason. So his question was, how much does he have to make to have his wife there not work? In other words, how much would he have to make for the wife to feel comfortable to not have to work? Does that make sense?
Well, it depends, because life here in Colombia, it's it's way difficult in certain places than the others. Okay, I live in mid of Colombia, and we have things that are cheaper than others, or things that are expensive. For example, rent. The rent here in my city are very expensive, very, very expensive. It's getting more expensive in Bogota, Medellin, Cali, La Costa, all Cartagena, Santa Marta, La Guajira, Choco, like all the Pacific.
Mhm.
It's getting more expensive because of that. That is the gentrification that we're living in from 5-10 years, more or less. Because we're seeing, for example, the Airbnbs. I personally had one. I was administrating one before the pandemic, and it was a lot of people from the US, from Venezuela, from Canada, from Europe, even from here, from Colombia too. But a lot of people renting the Airbnb because the hotels were way much expensive, or were far from they were looking for things or exploring, or they just simply wanted to rent there, and that. Okay, but for me, well, in my home, the income, well, I live with my mom. The income between the two of us, it's about 6 million pesos, which will be like $1,200. I guess, more or less.
Okay.
And we live pretty nice. It's a nice neighbor, and we live with comfortably, and and it's okay. But I think that when families are much grown, like they have more kids, it's the man and the husband and the wife and 2 3 kids or more, there will be much more difficult. Or for example, the elementary school, the the college, then university, and there's a lot of things that the parent has to supply for a lot of years. So it depends on the age of the kids, of the city they live in, the neighbor they live in. So, for example, here in my city, a family of 4 or 5 persons, you will need an income of more or less 7 million, $8 million.
Per month.
No, dollars, no, I'm sorry, pesos per month.
Okay. hmm Okay. Um, a lot of people around the world watch TV, watch social media. They see the United States. They watch all these TV shows with us with boats and all these expensive things, and they think everybody here is rich. Do you think that everybody in the United States is rich? Or are you aware that we're really struggling over here too, just on a different
Yeah,
level?
yeah, of course. I think that the same. It's the currency, the dollar high in some levels, and pesos like down all the time. We have seen that the $1 here it's goes to record limits, and we're like, oh my god, how can we live with a dollar so much expensive? But from some 6 months, more or less, we have seen the dollar like going down in relation with the pesos colombianos, and we we even see like there's a lot going on in the world that difficults the economy, not also here, there in the US, in Europe, in Africa, Asia, in the world, in the whole world. There's a difficult for the economy. As I was saying, my sister lives there, and she works a lot. She has been living there for over a year now, and for the first 8 months, they were dealing whole lot to pay 3 months of rent, and were working there as out until they found a home very well, was cheap, comfortable, and it was near from the school of my nephew, and now they have like stability in the economy for now on. But in the first days they were struggling so hard. Even having our family there, we couldn't like get there and with an stability in the same moment they arrived. They have to look and wait now, like saving saving money for the rent, for the college, for the institutions, for the transport, for clothes. And so for the beginning, it was very difficult to start in another country, even though we have family, we have friends, we have any person there who can help us. There's difficult. And I don't think that everybody is rich. I think that it's for the currency that they have like these opportunities. And if we come if they come to Colombia and watch us for what we win, which is the minimum salary here in Colombia, I think many people in the US will be like, wow, it's incredible. My God, how do you live with that? And so it will be difficult, but us, we are just how does it say? We're we have adjust to that situation.
Okay. Is your brother-in-law American? Your
No,
sis- No?
well, he has the green card. He's Colombian.
Okay. Okay. So they moved, they were married in Colombia and then moved to the United States.
They were living here together, but they were not married. They
Okay.
married in April, but they married here there.
Okay. Okay. So next question. Do you believe that it's the man's responsibility to pay for the bills, to pay the finances? I kind of know your answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
No, I don't think so. I think if I have an income, what to say, bigger, like I will pay my things and I will help my partner. But I don't think so. I think that we perfectly can divide that counts.
Okay. Well, what do you think of gender roles in a relationship? Meaning, what's the role of the woman versus what's the role of the man?
I think we have to have the same roles. If I work from home, I can perfectly have my things or the things in home um, clean, and I can make the food for not buying outside, and I can perfectly do those things and like scheduling. Example, in the morning I will clean my house, like I will do the breakfast, and then I will work 2 or 3 hours, and then I'll cook the lunch. Then I can work 4 hours on the afternoon, and then just relax and stop doing my work to relax in home. Okay, but if I work the whole day in an office outside my home, and for example, my partner has to do the same, not working home, but having to work in an office in a building and something, um, we'll have the same things to do. Like we have to have the house clean, then, well, let's take an hour or two to clean something in the house. But I think that we all should have the same roles. It's not that, well, it's a thought very, very old that we have that the women, it's the only one that cook, that that do things in home and or stays at home making things a lot of things. for attending the husband. I have seen a lot of men living by themselves alone, um, making things from the home, like like cleaning house, or aromatizing, buying things for the house. And I think that we could share. It's just that if I work more and I gain more, I will pay for more things. Okay. But I don't think that if I work all day, I have to come to home and um and do the dishes. I no, I'm tired. I want to do something else. But if I know that my partner also gets tired and I get earlier, I can perfectly do things, or the other way, or the other way. Yeah. So I think we should be the same, equal.
Okay. So this and the next question came from another viewer too. After the fact, he wanted me to ask, how pervasive is social media there? In other words, would you say that social media is helping to change the attitudes and beliefs and policies there?
Yeah, yeah, of course. We have seen a lot of things. I mean, we have the regions here that we don't get to know until we get the social media. I'm seeing that since there's Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, those social media apps, there's people trying to know better our country. Like, I have many friends that born in another city and came here to study, but knew some beaches, and they say, "Whoa, I have always lived in Pasto, for example, came to Manizales to study, and then I knew that there's a beach over the Pacific, like from Chocó, and we get to know better. And with the photos we share, we post, there's much more easy for us to see and like say, well, I can go there. I can know this, or even the political life. We have seen only things that happens in Bogota because it's the center and it's where is the Senate stays, and the president, he is just doing everything from there. And the people outside Bogota, it's like, well, this is happening, and what are you doing there? And since the social media exists, we're much more critical about the policies and about things that are affecting Colombia and their in our images as Colombians in the exterior.
Okay. Let me switch it up a little bit and ask you, what do you think about the druggings that are currently going on in major cities and even smaller cities too, with scopolamine, the devil's breath? What do you think about the tourists or visitors and expats that are getting targeted?
I think that that's awful. It's they're creating a terrible image for some Colombians, because nobody likes to be generalized and included in, oh, they're making people as scopolamine and stealing their things. and using their credit cards and using a lot of things to buying things and for traveling or for something that can be illegal mm, for the way it came. I mean, if I use a stolen credit card, I'm making something illegal. It's not only buying something, it's stealing for somebody and using that. mm, that's a terrible image. Um, and I feel bad. I am a lawyer, and when I was starting my career, we have many stories about that cases. Um, my professor tells us, like, well, there was these people here in Manizales. It happened more in these kind of cities. We have to be more aware, and as lawyers we have to make something to prevent people, not only uh, people from international countries, but also here in Colombia, because happens here with other Colombians and happens a lot in places that are like the partying places. Now, I think it's an awful image, and I hope it change soon.
When you said that you, as an attorney, are tasked with doing something, what exactly can you do to help prevent it?
Well, I think that it will be more from the education. As an attorney, I can easily make publicity about cases of that drugging, and making people stay alert to not expanding so much in some places, in the same places, or be careful who they talk to. Like, I can see perfectly when one person is like giving me bad vibes, and I'm kind of getting uncomfortable. I think that we all have a sixth sense, and when we feel like we're not getting comfortable in a place, in a party or something, um, there's a lot of people we can ask for help. But I have to mm, show the publicity and show some cases, even though they're cruel. We must aware, because this doesn't happen only here in Colombia. It happens everywhere, and it can happen to everyone. But it's also like a must for us as how does it say? As the hosts, we have to share the image that we are not only drug dealers or prostitutes or stealers. I don't know. We can also help a lot of people. We can also teach, and we can and we can give example with the.
Well, we need help from our end, because since I have to report on things like that. As a matter of fact, today I posted a video that a priest was drugged and robbed and died on 70 in Medellin.
Yeah.
Numerous other foreigners have been killed in the past year or so, at least 5 or 6 that I reported on, and one of which we knew. I mean, was a friend. I have at least 3 stories in my email right now of other guys that have gotten drugged, but didn't go to the police. So, I mean, I'm trying to encourage people to go to the police, get that form filled out. Make sure you try to get the girl. If it's a girl, get her Sejla, get her ID information. But is there any other advice you can give to a guy who's coming to Colombia, anywhere in Colombia, to make sure that he doesn't fall prey?
Well, for the first, it's not to come alone. I mean, for everyone, be a man, be a woman, be an old man, an older woman, a young person, whatever, is to not come alone if they don't know anything about this country. To buy things like in places that they feel safe, and to go to places with good statistics, yeah. And the most important for me, it's to travel with somebody who they trust in, even if it is the first time they come or they travel. At least having someone that I know, that I can talk to, and that I can ask, like, do you think this can be safe? How do you see this? Like, having another point of view, it will be very much safe for everybody.
Okay. Let me switch it up again. Just a few more questions, but prostitution is legal in Colombia. What are your thoughts and beliefs on it?
Well, I think it's a work like many more. It's legal over 18 years, where they're now adults. But I have seen a lot of cases that where those girls got raped or got drugged or got killed for people that are not thinking the same. But well, other things that make me like worry about that condition of work is that they're very, very vulnerable to get an ETS or something, and they have family. We have to think about the family, not only if they have kids, but their parents, brothers, and many more people that care about them. I think it's good, like to find a way to explore their bodies and to know something more about them. But it's dangerous. It's dangerous for everyone who is making that job, because is there. I was saying, they're very vulnerable, and they, in most of the cases, they come from very, very, very poor places, poor neighbors, poor families. They don't have the opportunity to study, and they get to know the drugs in our age that it's so young, but it's like it's the first thing they know. They don't know how to read, but they try drugs and they know drugs and all drugs. And it's way difficult to see them like standing, waiting for somebody that picks them and not knowing if they will come back or how will they come back. That's very, very difficult to see.
Okay. Well, so a lot of men who go to Colombia go for the women. Some go to meet a good woman, want to settle down and marry. They think the traditional wife is there, which we're finding out there are differences there. But then there's some that come for just straight prostitution. Okay. What are your thoughts about tourists coming in for sex, for prostitution?
I think that they're predators. I mean, in the whole world of prostitution, why do they have to come to an underdeveloped country that where the kids from 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 are sold by sometimes their own parents, or they use them only for sexual interests? I think that's insane. It's scary, and it's very, very sad that we only changed our image from Pablo Escobar to there are cute girls, beautiful girls, and that's the whole word that they're meaning. There are girls, and they do come for girls. It's not like they have an app and says, "Oh, I like this one girl, I want to go to meet her." No, they come specifically to some cities looking for young girls to have sex with them and to pay them.
I'm not talking about underage kids. If anybody deals in underage, just kill them, throw them away. That's personal belief. Be done with them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the legal prostitution.
Okay.
And a grown adult from another country coming there to be with a grown adult there. People go because, I mean, let's face it, Colombian women, I mean, I've been around the world. I got to say, Colombia has some beautiful women. I mean, it's just, I just got back from Thailand, beautiful women, but Colombia has some beautiful women. So I think the proximity of the United States to Colombia is one thing. The cost it takes to get there for some, it's not a lot. You can get there for Florida for a couple of $100. And then when you get there, the dollar's strong. But I'm talking about adults, so not have anything to do with underage. Kill all of them. That's just my personal view. Be done with them. I'm talking, and not the parents and all that sick, depraved. No, I'm talking about just a legally aged man going there to be with a legally aged woman. What are your thoughts?
Well, I have the same thought that practicing the prostitution, like they will always be in danger. It's not safe, not only for the ETSs or for something like that. It's like for the person who comes. It's the places they take the women, and there's a lot of things that can happen. Well, some of them are very lucky because they are safe. Like they do their work, they do their sexual thing, and come back to their place like in good conditions. But there are another ones that doesn't believe that, that doesn't live that because of the dogs or from some men, not only in the US but around the world, that think that the prostitution it's something immoral. And well, I don't see like I don't see it like a bad job. I mean, everyone has its necessities, and for the lack of education, many people can get there. Um, but that I don't feel it as a bad thing if the man only comes to just have sex and to pay for it. It's like, hey, I know I saw you and I thought you're beautiful. Can we have sex? I paid. And the girl says, okay, never mind. I'll get the money. I think it's not something bad, but when they are working like for constantly on the prostitution, it becomes dangerous for them, not only women but men too.
You mentioned earlier, you said not only ETS, is that a sexually transmitted disease?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I didn't recognize ETS. Okay.
ETS, it's just in Spanish, it's ETS.
Okay. Okay. So, well, let me switch it back then to coming to find a good woman. I know, and I tell guys, you can meet a good looking girl here at the grocery store. You can meet a good looking girl there at the Jumbo or the Corullo, the Éxito.
Yeah.
They are everywhere. But so if I'm coming to find a good woman in Colombia, what city would you tell a man to go to find a wife?
To find a wife, I think in Bucaramanga.
Really?
Yeah.
Why
I haven't heard about anyone like rejecting or getting mad for the women there. No.
Really?
But in Medellin and in Bogota, for example, Bogota, the women are very, very independent. And Medellin, the women are looking for husbands, but not, I'm not saying they're bad wives, but I don't see them much as wives because the same, it's a big city that in which the culture is changing and making the people more independent too.
What did you say about Bogota? That they are independent or not?
The women,
independent?
no, the women are more independent.
Oh, they are. Okay, so they're less liable. And when I hear independent, it sounds like a woman that doesn't need a man. Do you agree with that?
Want it. That doesn't want it.
Okay.
Yeah, like having for okay, or doesn't need it. Like it isn't looking for him desperately, or isn't looking for a husband in the whole meaning of the word.
Okay, so they're more independent in Bogota than they are in Medellin. But Medellin, you don't see them really as being wives.
No, I don't.
How so?
I have many family there, many women cousins and friends, women friends, and I don't see them like being wives. For example, my cousins, only there are 4 women and only one is married. The only ones are the other ones are with boyfriends, long-term boyfriends or something, but they're not married, or they even they're not even living together. They just pass the time. And for my friends, it's the same. They have long-term boyfriends, girlfriends, but no in a relationship about getting married. It's not. We don't see
Is,
that anymore.
well, is that because they're not being proposed to, or because they're just saying no?
They just say no. They just say no. I don't want to. Let's stay as we're being going.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there you go, guys. You may get a wife in Colombia, but she may not want to be one. And then Bogota is going to be a little tougher, I guess.
Go
So,
travel to all Colombia. Go to no Colombia. You're welcome here anytime. Enjoy our country, enjoy our cities, enjoy our nature, and enjoy our people, who's very joyful. But don't only come for sex or drugs.
exactly. When I first came, I came for business. When I found out where it was, they told me, "Okay, I'm in Colombia." And one thing, oh, Colombia, we remember that history. And so, okay, so I'm still planning. Okay, what part of Colombia? Medellin. I thought, okay, that doesn't make it any better. I'm starting, and this is 3.5 years ago. No, this is 5.5 years ago, the first time I came. And then when I got there, I fell in love with the place. It was around Christmas time. They were riding around Parque, lleras, shooting foam. I guess school was over. It was just an amazing. The weather was incredible, which is still incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, was there a month and a half ago. Beautiful weather every day. Never had a problem. Flies, no bugs. Come on, you don't have bugs. Well, here we get bitten and eaten. And Thailand, oh my God, I got just sitting outside. You have to put on bug spray. There's no bugs. The weather's so good. I left my balcony open. So my favorites were the weather, the strength of the dollar. Okay, the women were good looking, but I thought maybe I'd get back with my ex-girlfriend anyway. And so I didn't mess around. So I've never even noticed. I mean, I noticed good looking women, don't get me wrong, but I didn't, partake because I thought possibly I'd get back together. But so, money, weather, cost of living is low. Come on, it's day and night from there to here. What you would pay there for an apartment versus here. I mean, what I pay for this, I could be living very well there. But so people have that thought that it's that dangerous, that it's that bad. And not until you go there do you realize that it's amazing. But you guys have been pigeonholed because of the girls, because you guys are so beautiful. You girls are so beautiful. The guys are coming from all around the world. And I told someone the other day that I'm from the U.S. I thought 95% of my viewers would be from the U.S. 60% are from the U.S. Another 40% are from around the world. There are people, I get emails from Dubai, Australia, Canada, a lot of people from Canada, Mexico. They all want to go to Colombia. What if anybody is going to Colombia for the first time? Say, for instance, an American is going to Colombia for the first time. What would they need to do to prepare themselves for the trip?
Well, let's start for the weather. Here in Colombia, we don't have the same weather everywhere. Like you have the coast and there's very, very warm. There's much more sun and the temperatures are very high. There's this middle part of Colombia that is sunny, but also cloudy, and it's raining sometimes. you have the Pacific, that in Pacific, in some places like Chocó, Darien, that are the limits with Panama, they're very rainy, very, very rainy. They're that I think it's the city that rains every day of the year, every day, every day of the year, it's raining. There's a place of that. There's Llanos Orientales that are also warm because they don't have trees, for example. They're just plain. And there's what else? In the south of Colombia, it's much more colder than the north of Colombia. And for the weather, they have to be prepared. For example, here in my city that calls Manizales, we have the sunny morning, and in the middle of the afternoon, you can't even tell when or how it starts raining. It's like, what? When? I'm not even prepared. So they have to know that. Well, what other things? The food. They have to try all the food, and they have to come with an empty stomach always to everywhere, because everybody comes here to Colombia and watch us like eating our food, and they say like, how can you eat that much and you don't get fat? How is it possible? And we're like, it's because you only eat burgers, and we eat a lot of things. We have many different things. I was talking to a friend yesterday that he is from here, but he was traveling to another city, and he was saying, well, I can't eat potatoes because the potatoes there are only two types, and here there are 4 or 5 types of potatoes, and they're so much different. Like they only cook him like with salt and some water, and that's it. But here you have potatoes, smashed potatoes, you have the fried potatoes, you have a lot of ways to prepare them. And it's not only for that, it's the whole food. There's a lot of ways to prepare them. And so you have to try everything. There are places that are fuller than others, so they can experience the same things in the places that are more empty than in those other places, because they can be more expensive or something like that. For general, yeah, we are very, very kind, and we are joyful. We're always treating the other persons well. And so that's the image we all want from anybody from any part of the world, now from Colombia, that we're happy for everything.
We can tell people are friendly. People have walked me to the store. Oh, let me show you where this is. It's up the street. Turn. Let me come with you and walk with me. And
Yeah.
I use my little bit of Spanish too, but everybody is exceptionally friendly. But real quick, one more question. But I will tell you the top 3 things I teach my viewers to learn or to know or to take with them to Colombia. 1, learn Spanish. 2, learn Spanish. 3, learn Spanish. You need to speak Spanish. It will be a struggle. Now, you see me doing these interviews, and Maria speaks great English, but everybody doesn't. So believe it, especially in Medellin, everybody doesn't. So, right quick, my last question, though, for you, Maria, is what do you think of the case of John Poulos? He's the guy that's accused of murdering Valentina Tres Palacios. What do you think of that whole story? And is it affecting the thoughts of Colombians about Americans because of him?
Well, I don't think that's only from Americans. We have in Colombia experienced a lot of cases from feminicides. It's very sad. About this case of John Paulos and Valentina, we have known so many things that aren't necessary to know. For example, that she was talking to other guys. We don't needed to know that, but it was important for us to know that he was having a divorce process and that he has a kid with cancer, who's dealing with cancer. But it's very sad because he came to Colombia to know Valentina, to marry her. She trusted him, and his personality, his psychotic personality, just jumped out of nowhere, and he in one day decided to kill her. And it was traumatizing. I say it's not going to change the image we have from the Americans. We know that the Americans are not all like that, like John Paulos or many other killers. But it's a sad case because she was so young. She had only 23 years old, I guess, and she had a career so strong, and she was getting to be known in other countries, and was a very, very beautiful woman that just have the bad luck to get to know this guy. And I think we can prevent that, but it's difficult. And she was so happy with him. She trusted him, and he betrayed that trust that she gave him and that in her family gave him to doing this awful case.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing, and thank you so much for taking this time with me. Maria, did I miss anything? Do you think I missed any questions, or do you think or is there anything that you wanted to say to my viewers directly that I didn't ask?
No, I don't think it's good. Thank you so much for having me and for this invitation. I hope we can get to talk about anything else anytime soon. To your viewers, thank you so much. I hope my interview was helpful for to get to know more about women dating and Colombia.
Exactly. It has been for me too. Let me scroll back up to my first one. Let's see. Okay. It's not a hookup culture. You need to be introduced by family and friends. So I'm telling everybody I know in Colombia, you got to hook me up. You have to introduce me, introduce me to a girl down there. So keep me in your mind in the future.
Okay. I will.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Have a good evening, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much to you, and have a great night. Bye.
Thank you. You too. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.